Good morning, everyone. Let me just put this microphone over here so you can hear me better. Happy to have you here. Welcome back to the European Gaming Quarterly Meetups. This is the second quarterly meetup this year. Happy to have here with me today Anna Vikmane, Director of Better Life. Hi, Anna. Nice to meet you. Daniel Gunba, Founder and CEO of TRIIONFT. Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
And last but not least, Simon Croft, founder and developer at Life Solutions Group. Hi, Simon, nice to have you here. All right, so before we dive into the questions, I just want to ask you to say a few words about yourselves and introduce your company, and then we go into the details. So Anna, let's start with you.
So I'm Anna, Director of Better Life, as you introduced me, and I'm leading a company called Better Life, just live casino service provider, and is a part of the Better Group, which also you will find the product as Better Sports, table tennis and stuff like this, Better Esports with the FIFA, CSGO and similar products. So which unites all the group is that we have in-house built content from A to Z. So this is about the Better as a whole company.
All right, thank you so much. Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel. As mentioned before, I'm founder and CEO of TRIIONFT. Basically, we are developing the true life casino experience in the metaverse and the metaverse itself. And one of the technology which we're working on is the body tracking, which is powered by our own artificial intelligence to bring the live casino dealers from the real life casinos into the metaverse with a real experience for the players.
All right, thank you so much. Simon, you're on mute. We can't hear. I think you're muted.
Sorry, muted by a mistake. My name's Simon, better known as Crofty. I think my label says that. Been in the iGaming industry since 1995, believe it or not. And done most of the activities that are associated with it. Currently, we at Live Solutions are creating table games, which probably don't fall into the traditional live dealer category. We're trying to do something very different, which involves everybody at the table being able to communicate with each other. So that's us.
All right, so I'm happy to have such a colored crowd. Panel, because Crofty, I will call you that, comes from this most probably land-based industry and then switched over to live casino.
Actually, not.
No?
No, I didn't come from the land-based side at all. I was an early adopter of the internet casino.
Oh, that's good. That's good then. So then you're not involved with the land-based industry. All right. So yeah, and Daniel is embracing metaverse, which is something relatively new in the industry. And Anna also is part of this big group, which offer many solutions. So my question for all of you is, with so many developers that are getting into the live casino vertical, because we see them popping up every time, what can a company do to help its product stand out in an increasingly saturated market? Let's start with Anna.
Okay, so about the development, definitely there is so much to do. If we are just starting from, the live casino, I think as a product, comparing other verticals on sportsbook sites which our operators are offering, it's the vertical with the biggest opportunity of being creative, right? So of course we now see this kind of new category of game shows, right? So, and there is such a variety of what you can do there, starting from the core classic live casino games as blackjack, roulette, and then you can add some additional features on top of it, right? So like we did, for example, with the gravity blackjack, so standard blackjack, you add the multipliers, and it already comes with a different customer journey. And then you go more and more into the game shows. So there is no end actually of this development, right? So just add your creativity and, you know, everything is possible. But anyway, on top of it, always customer journey always will stand above that, right? So to have it smooth, user-friendly. Also, our gadgets are changing constantly. So the size of the screen, so soon maybe we will be holding with the both hands. So all of these things, you know, it makes this development as a never-ending story, right? So always there is something that you can improve, add additional. So I'm sure that developers in live casino field definitely have a great future.
All right. So Crofty, what's your opinion on this?
So I think you have to think about how you define live casino, first of all, because people have their schemas. And when you mention live casino, the first thought that everybody jumps to is live dealer. And that's by no means the only live element to a gaming experience. So you've got many different innovations coming in. Essentially, some of them are just proxy betting or using live feeds from casinos. You've got our product, which is attempting to create a much more social environment. But I agree with that. I think that the sky's the limit. You're only limited by your imagination as to what you can achieve now. Technology is moving extremely fast. You've got AI, which we use, and I think Daniel uses as well. Those type of things are only going to accelerate the progress.
All right, Daniel.
Yeah, honestly, I believe during few years, there were a lot of like updates, and they have it even now, like updates for the user interface and even user experience, but the base is quite the same. Like, if we speak about live casinos, we always know that this is basically the studio with the live dealer, and the interface is like pretty similar. So what can be done, as we said, even for example, we had the traditional blackjack game, there can be done some features on top, added some features on top. But I believe today, to make something new, we need to more speak about the experience in general. Like as I said, we all know live casinos by the studios and live dealers. And of course, live dealer, the human factor is the main part of the live casino. But that's what we are trying to do, basically, to change the way of how people can have an experience with the same real human in the live casino. So especially, I mean, I believe everybody saw the presentation of WWDC with the Apple Vision. So maybe something in that direction as well. But yeah, the key is the experience, I believe.
All right. So like Anna said, that it's a very interesting industry, and the live casino category is like a roller coaster ride when you have all these twists and turns and things that are popping up constantly, and the streaming evolving and everything. So maybe also a question for all of you is like, what trends have we seen emerging in live casino space in the recent years? And maybe some sneak peek into the future to what to expect, Anna?
Oh, so of course, now definitely we will talk more about this VR and AR as well today. But overall, we see that last 5, maybe a bit more years, the game show vertical has been growing massively. Which involves a new generations. It also allows us to do much more of cross-sell by involving players who are used to play completely different verticals. And there is no limitations actually. You start with this live casino classic core games, but then you can end up with completely, fairy tales. I don't know, something universe, galaxy theme. There's all options, and so this is what we see, that more and more companies coming in and also launching these game show type of the games, not just these classic core live casino games. So what I think, so the trend is definitely there. I think nobody is even questioning about it. And what to expect more is definitely some new game concepts, which even today, none of us can even imagine. This is, there's a lot of games which is core and with updates, but I think there will be more and more coming that's, completely new concepts, how to play. When in combination of a lot of technical elements on it, it's, stay tuned, basically. And then what I expect is that we will see maybe more already division of these game shows, because these game shows, which we are calling in live casino, is really wide range. Like standard classic core games, we are dividing like roulette games, blackjack and baccarat and so on. But game shows now it goes as a one category. I think in next 2 years even, I expect us already to have a division in separate verticals already there.
All right, Crofty?
I think that the trend that we've seen really is more and more companies jumping on the original live dealer bandwagon and attempting to differentiate themselves with new games within that format of one single event being broadcast to multiple users, and they're hoping to differentiate themselves with new rules, games, new side bets, and that kind of thing. The game show format is an interesting one. I think that's just going to run and run. People seem to like it. It's got that television feel rather than a gaming feel to it. And then you've got, the new wave, we would call it, of interaction by the players, because they tend to get left out in these things. And I think Daniel's very aware of this, is that, when players do like to feel like they are valued and that they're having a new and interesting experience. And that can take many forms. So obviously we as a company major in the peer-to-peer video within the games that we offer. And that's a totally new experience for players. And they may find themselves surprised to be joined by the VIP manager at the table who talks to them and gives them incentives face-to-face. Now that's extraordinary in terms of a quantum leap in player management. And I don't think that's being discussed enough. The potential for the players to be served better by the technology rather than the operators giving new games and new experiences in their view. So I think that's probably a trend that's going to increase in the very near future.
All right, Daniel?
I definitely agree with Anna. So about the show factor in the iGaming and games, and we should mention one very good example. If I'm not wrong, basically from that example, this trend started. It's a Wheel of Fortune by Evolution Gaming, and the idea was like there was no game presenter. I mean, there was a game presenter, but the guy was mainly speaking to the microphone and spinning the wheel, and after that there was the animation of the Monopoly game and a lot of different stuff on that. This is one of those, and if we are not going very far in the years, we should say that the metaverse is the trend as well, because I mean it's new, but this is not something what was invented yesterday. It's already a year or two, Decentraland having very good results. It's not live casino, but still it's a gambling metaverse with a gambling part there. So metaverse, and honestly, I believe that metaverse can bring those two factors as a true live casino and the show as well together for the players. As mentioned before, now we have all these technologies as AI, and we have better developers, even for any new gadgets which are not, which we can't buy, but they're kind of already presented to the public. We can download the SDKs to develop our software on top. So I believe, yeah, this is something.
All right. So yeah, actually yesterday I recorded a podcast which is coming out tomorrow about augmented reality from an Austrian company, and the guest had actually a pretty good idea about how the future looks like. Like maybe in 5-10 years, we will not have a television or a laptop in front of us. We will just use an AR glass. Of course, Apple is known for their screens breaking. So I cannot imagine that bulky scuba thing just having a cracked screen on it, and then you just sit around there and not maybe seeing icons. But yeah, let's talk about the VR and AR space, because that one is very exciting, and the live casino space feels like very unnatural fit for such technology. So how can the role of virtual reality and augmented reality technologies enhance the player immersion? And are there any downsides or additional considerations when discussing the inclusion of VR and AR? Anna, we will go the same way.
Okay, so let's stick. I think, of course, I will agree with Daniel about this, combination, that it fits well. And so, of course, live casino definitely also will go hand in hand with the development of technology. Also, regarding this VR, usage of VR glasses and live casino to build some collaboration with it, it has been done already in the past, right? So I know that several attempts there were. I assume that main thing what was challenging was that okay, you can build it, you can create, concept is great, but it's about the end user. How handy it is for end user, how natural it is. Because nowadays, all of us have the phones in our pockets, but how many of us have really the glasses in the pockets? So, and I think this was the main challenge before when the previous projects were doing and trying to discover such options. Is about the technology and how user-friendly. So, but now with, also Apple stepping in and, providing, and we know that Apple is well known about that you have the phone, you have the headsets, then you have a watch and, on full set. And maybe now they will create this hype that it's completely normal to have a set of the glasses with you as well, and maybe you are walking around. It's type of new fashion, Apple is a great brand, and they are doing big things. So I think that definitely, Daniel, this will also help your project to make the steps, and also for us as well, because it's really interesting. Of course, the customer experience, which you can give through these glasses, is outstanding. So far, it was just not so natural for players to use it. So I'm really looking forward. And AR, it's definitely, it's why not to use such a base of information, what you can add to your product and bring it in the next level of engagement. It's just the question is how, where exactly, how you use to make it still keep it natural, classic, but in the same time upgraded, because also the customer journey needs to be simple as possible, that people, players can understand things from the first go, or maybe 2 seconds after, but nothing, that you need to read a full book of like a manual how to use it. So
yeah, so I most probably the VR guys are very excited again this year, because since 2016, every year it has been the year of VR. This year we are going to break it. Then Zuckerberg rebranded Facebook to Meta. That maybe was probably going to be a big hype, and people started buying more Quest glasses, but that did not catch on. HTC is doing it with the Vive. They are also doing augmented reality, but let's see if Apple maybe, but it's very pricey. So not many people will just jump on it. So Crofty, what's your opinion about this?
Well, I agree with Anna that the whole process is driven by the adoption of devices. AR and VR are particularly dependent upon equipment. And, we've seen this right from the beginning of the iGaming industry. When I, started, iGaming was all about laptop and desktop versions, and nobody thought that anybody would be playing on a device that they walk around with in their pocket. And you simply didn't think about it. Now, Apple came out with a product which then drove the whole market. And it wasn't the gaming industry that drove that development at all. It was the development of devices that enabled people to carry around the entertainment in their pockets. And of course, what happens is developers then spy that opportunity and say, oh, there's people there, there's a market, let's jump on and develop. And so the mobile market developed, and it's now upwards of more than 90% of the market now. We don't talk in terms of desktop and laptop anymore. And I think the problem with AR and VR is that it does depend on the adoption of these headsets. And we've seen that there are massive pitfalls in that. We saw the demise of Google Glass, for whatever reasons. That was supposed to be the great thing, and backed by an enormously powerful company, and they couldn't get it to work. They could get it to work technically, but they couldn't get people to adopt it. And I think that's going to be the struggle. The struggle is going to be, as Anna said, do people really picture themselves wandering around the streets with these? I'm not saying they're going to stay as goggles, these enormous goggles, but can people picture themselves wandering around with a device which they wear and enables them to see everything through that prism? Now, I wouldn't bet against it, because we're not the definers of the trends. The people that adopt those devices are, and it will depend on how those devices develop in the future.
All right, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, we already have a good example of using a VR in the iGaming. It's a PokerStars. They have their own VR casino. But honestly, first of all, VR is not for the casinos, it's for the players, that's for sure. And the VR itself, to interact in the virtual reality with the headset, you still need to have the controllers, right? You need to have at least something in your hands. Mm-hmm. So here, what I like about the new product of Apple, I mean, it's definitely not ready, and Apple never will do it for the iGaming as it should be, but developers will. So basically, and maybe as we discussed before, as was mentioned before, everybody have a phone in their pocket, but of course not the headset. So this is maybe something what we will see in the future, basically, because even with the Apple Vision Pro or whatever, you already can control everything without anything. It's just your hands. So, and as we said, the mobile industry, the hardware is evolving very fast, especially today with the new softwares and technologies. So maybe this is the next step of the VR. So we will have something what will let us interact without headsets, but with the same experience. I mean, or it can be the headsets, the glasses like you have, Zoltán, right now, something very comfortable, what you can take with you at any time. And when it's paired with your phone, for example, you will be able to interact. Yeah, definitely, glasses is something what you can use at home only. But here, I really believe that, as I said before, not the companies who are developing the glasses will make it nice for AI gaming. Just freelancer developers will make it nice and ready for the AI gaming industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that I use the augmented reality sports glasses for running and cycling, which are awesome. And yeah, it shows a lot of data. It's interactive because if you swipe your hand in front of the glass, you can change screens, see your BPM, see your pace, stuff like that. That has been adopted very well by the sports industry. So augmented reality is already doing things in the sports industry. But let's see how fast they can go into the other verticals by using AR, because these headsets, I mean, basically it's a shade. It's just a glass. You cannot see the video inside it, but it still costs 300 euros. So it's almost similar to like a Quest 2 or something like that by Meta. So yeah, during our sessions, we've been talking about tailor-made brand-specific live casino content, which is catching on very fast, especially in the US. So again, question for the panel. Why do you think that this is becoming more and more popular, having a bespoke branded live casino? And do you expect this trend to continue in the years or just fade away?
So I guess it's my turn to answer.
Yeah.
So if you are talking specifically, you were mentioning US, and in general, US market is well known that they value the product quality of their entertainment, right? So the level how Hollywood is doing, NFL, all the shows and everything. So they have already traditionally this background of entertainment to be playing a really important role of how they are doing things. So definitely there's no surprises that, more something specific, more show type is required for this market. And about unique content, I would say that if we are talking particularly about live casino, in the last 5 years, live casino from the live casino provider side, this market has got really competitive, right? There's so many new providers in it, and also from operator side, there's so many new brands also coming in. So it is really competitive. Now it's completely standard that you have several these providers integrated on your website, so the players have a massive content of live casino games. So, and it is for one, then the player is going to another one, whereas again, a lot of the games, but more or less the same. So, and it's not a secret that most of the players, depending on the market, but they are on at least average, what I have been checking is about 3.5 operator web pages that one player is registered. So, and then the question is what they can do to make, to be more special, how the operator wins. Because of course, my success is my operator's success, which is my client, right? So, and for them to have this unique content, to be able to stand out is, of course, it's what is and really helps them, to have something exclusive content or these dedicated branded tables, which helps them to build the brand awareness. And there's a lot of things what you can do around. So yeah, the main driver is to be able to stand out in the moment when the market is really competitive.
All right, Crofty.
Well, the availability and cost of branding traditionally in the live casino market has been a factor of the studio-based nature, and that's a limited amount of real estate, let's call it, a limited number of tables, and therefore the ability to brand a table is in itself going to remove that table from somebody else's inventory. So that's traditionally what's been driving the lack of branding, is that obviously the studios, unless they're charging a fortune for those tables, which some of them do.
It's the US market.
Well, the US, we talked about the US love it. I mean, we're always approached by the US companies who want the branded experience, which is lucky for us, is so much easier in a virtual environment. If we just brand everything, so we don't even think about it. And I'm sure Daniel is probably the same. He's thinking in terms of, my environment, it's very easy to stick a branding on it. It's slightly more complex to do the whole, color scheme of the particular company, but it's not that difficult virtually. But it is very difficult to justify having one of the physical tables set aside for a particular brand. And it has to pay its way. So from that point of view, you're going to see more and more of it. There's more and more operators coming onto the scene, and not just Americans. I mean, operators love to have their brands out there because it reinforces the marketing that they do to the players whilst they're playing. And if they're particularly proud of the quality of the product that they have, then they will want their branding on the tables, whether they are virtual or not. So I don't see that's going to go away at all. I think that is here to stay, and it will become more and more prevalent.
So the trend is continuing, right, Daniel?
I mean, 100% agree, because basically iGaming industry is just, we can call it as a race. So everybody wants to be the first. Everybody wants to make people remember their casino, remember their designs, their colors. And today we speak about well-known brands. We always can say, even without logotype, studio, for example, and we can say, oh, this is, for example, 888 Casino. It's all about, because people are, especially today, they're very picky. We're overfed with the content. Even if we speak about the industries like video, right, on YouTube videos, we don't like to watch videos with a low quality, low resolution, but with a good sound. We want to have a full package. Same with the casinos. I mean, we want to have a high quality, 100% experience, and this is one of the main parts of it. And if we speak about in general about the trend, yes, definitely. I mean, it will stay. It's not only in USA, US. It's going to be in Europe. It is in Europe. So basically, everywhere. This is the necessary part of any live casino.
All right. So are there any magic tricks developers are doing to pull out their heads to amplify the user experience in live dealer games? And maybe is it worth mentioning HD streaming or interaction features, customization options? So what are these magic steps that you guys are doing?
So I would say that in general, I think all our discussion is going back again and again about that there is no endpoint when it comes to improvement of customer experience, right? And how far we go, how quickly we go further, because of course, from the provider perspective, we are really well motivated, to bring all the newest technology in today. But the question is, where is the end user, right, with this journey? And even like today, Better Life can offer live stream with a 4K quality, right? The question is, what is the end user can? With the current phones, 4K quality is not the experience which you really can use. Then also about one technology, then there's also internet quality. If we are, providing the product to the different parts of the world, to different locations, internet quality is also playing a really key point to us. So I think that on one hand, you want to do everything with the top quality, but then it's in a comparison that you actually, the scope to which you are looking needs to really be personalized, that you can bring this super good quality to the player who has, better quality device plus good internet. And then at the same time, you can satisfy the one who doesn't have a good internet quality and so on. And it needs to be done in the same time. So there's a lot of technology and approaches which we are working as well today to be able to satisfy all this group in the same time. So yeah, I think this is the biggest challenge, how to satisfy all the needs in the one go.
No, that's hard. Crofty.
Yeah. I return to a theme from before. I mean, it's about the user experience. It's not about the technology. It's about whether the technology and/or the design and/or the UX, and I use that in a specific way, delivers for that individual player the experience that they enjoy and they want to repeat, and that will create the means for getting that player back again. I think with the live dealer at the moment, where the trend is to cram on, except in blackjack, of course, where you can't, but to cram on as many players as you possibly can onto each table, for the same reason I mentioned before, which is it's limited amount of real estate, so the operators clearly want to get as many players on as they possibly can. But I think players don't necessarily want some of them do. Some of them just want to play bang, 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 and they're not interested in interaction. They're looking for that experience. But some of them want interaction. And thank God that there are differences in people, because that allows different studios and different developers to offer different experiences to different types of players who are all looking for something new and different to do. And I think some of the developments now are definitely to do with social. There is a lot of interest in social interaction in online gaming and gambling, and that will only get stronger. We've got new generations of youngsters coming up where that is their entire life. They spend their entire life online socializing, and there's no reason at all why this should be any different for the iGaming industry. So you're going to see much more development towards interaction. And personally, I think it's almost impossible for the current format of live dealer to provide that. If you've got 1,000 players at the table, there is no way that they are interacting with each other, not in a million years. But they can do it as they do using social networks if it's built correctly. And I think that's the way that things are probably going to go.
All right. So, Daniel, you're a young guy. So what do you think about this?
I mean, for me, I would say I'm speaking from developer side. I really like what Anna said, that it's very important who's your end user, because it's true. Like you can try to bring a lot of technologies, graphic solutions, and basically your end user not gonna see it. But this is what I like in the virtual reality solutions, in the virtual casinos or metaverses, we can call them how you want. Because you can provide different type of resolutions and settings, you can optimize each level of the settings quality and basically, even if player will go for the lowest because of the hardware, you still can try to bring as much as possible experience in it. So basically you can work on every level for every player. And of course, it's much easier than if we speak about the traditional live casinos, because I believe people who operate who own the traditional live casinos, they have a lot of barriers with how to stream, for example, I don't know, from one camera in few resolutions at the same time or something like that. So flexibility in development, this is what we can get in the virtual reality, and virtual and of course freedom in general for any entertainment for the players.
All right. So yeah, and it's crazy that there are so many slots games being released every week, every day, and they are becoming more and more immersive. And also some table games are being developed that are becoming very immersive. So do you think that live casino games will still have a seat at the table in the future, or maybe the appetite for it will diminish? Anna.
I think definitely. It's, always the same, like there's so many new sports games, sport types coming in, but somehow, football is always, the top. Yeah. So classics is always, of course, this new generation requires, and for live casino, it really comes with this lower bet limits, more this shiny feelings, super quick game rounds and stuff like this. So which we need to take in consideration. But if blackjack will disappear, I don't believe so. I really personally, I like the blackjack game itself, and also has already made a journey. Of course, it cannot stay as it is. There will be classic players who will prefer the 7-seat standard game, but it's also, there's so many variations already of it. So the same about roulette. I think roulette is the most flexible game now from the core, let's say, live casino games so far, which has proved that it can be basically everything, right? So I assume that it will keep changing, developing, and we will see a lot of versions of it. So future, definitely, I see there.
All right. Crofty?
Well, I think the again, go back to how you define live casino. I think it will morph and change as it has done. I mean, people forget how recent all the developments really are, and it's constantly changing and improving, and it will continue to do so. Is it going to disappear? Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. There's always going to be a proportion of the population that enjoy that kind of activity. And indeed, some of them will enjoy that activity and that activity and that activity, depending on what it is. Slots can become live, and that would be live casino as well. Slots tournaments are becoming very popular. I mean, they've always been popular, but online in a live environment, there's so much room for development, so there's no chance of it going away. All right, Daniel?
Yeah, honestly, I believe that even slots, they will evolve into live casino for sure, because the human factor is an amazing feature. And the fact that I can just take my phone from the pocket and experience with a real dealer, it's insane even today. And like for me as a user, because we are trying a lot of live casinos to understand how they work, of course, I would be happy to try to play slots games with a real live dealer. How to do that? Maybe this is the question for my team, because we might be the guys who develop. Thank you for the idea. Will it destroy live casino or move or make it less popular? Definitely no. Definitely no. Live casinos is I believe it's going to be the main. It's already now for me, and it's going to be even more main product of the casinos.
All right. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time. And if you have maybe some closing remarks, just say it. This is an open discussion. Anyone?
Maybe one thing, we were talking about a lot of technology developing, and basically stay tuned, be creative, and I really believe that live casino is from all the standard gaming products with this biggest opportunity to change to be anything else. But I think what we didn't touch is the personalization, which also is playing a big role, and where we, of course, now operators now are starting to put more and more focus on it, because the end user is attached with all the information to them, how to give exactly what this player wants, not what I think that this group of player likes, right? And it also comes to now to provider side as well. So we are, having a personalized features for the end user already based on the data which we have, and then also for operators for their brands, so with the UI customization and stuff like this. So personalization, this is in the moment when we are like talking about a big amount of actives to involve more and more. In the same time, this is what we need to work on in the parallel about the personalization.
All right, Crofty.
Just really tie up. I mean, live casinos started way back when as a solution to people's distrust of random number generation in the iGaming industry. That's where it started. Does anybody remember that now? It has transformed entirely from that early days of people don't trust a random number generator to the situation we have now, which is we're talking about so many different innovations. And just the definition of live casino is changing almost daily, actually, with new products that come out. And I think that can only be a good thing, and I thoroughly encourage it.
All right, so the millennial has the final word in this.
Yeah, I'm quite fresh in the industry. I'm only 3 years in iGaming, and basically the message I want to say, because for me, every week, every day, we're investigating, and we can see something new, more and more technologies around the industry. So if anybody has the idea which they want to try, this is exactly the right spot to try the technologies and fresh ideas, because iGaming is, first of all, it's a mortal industry, and it's endless industry.
All right, so with that in mind, we are closing this session, and thank you, Anna, Crofty, Daniel, for your time. And we had a good time, right?
It was very interesting.
All right. And
Yes.
for the 150 viewers watching on YouTube, I would like to say thank you for joining us. And we will be back again in 4 months. So